Hey there, what's up fam? Big love to my global crew. And if it's your first time hanging with us, welcome to the family. Go ahead, smash that like button and hit subscribe so you don't miss out. The Houthis just majorly screwed up, shooting down a US drone. So here's what went down. On March 5th, 2025, an American MQ-9 Reaper drone took off from a base in Djibouti for what was supposed to be just another routine recon mission over the Red Sea.
Yeah, it didn't stay routine for long. A few hours into its 27-hour mission, while still flying through international airspace, the Houthis, or as some folks jokingly call them, the Houthis, decided to get spicy and launched a bunch of missiles at it. Despite the drone popping off a ton of flares to throw the missiles off, one missile actually landed a hit. Boom! That $30 million bird took a nosedive straight into the sea.
And here's the kicker. This wasn't even the first time. That drone was the 12th one the Houthis have taken down since 2023. Just a few weeks earlier, they even tried to shoot down a manned F-16. Yeah, we talked about that in a previous vid. So between this, 174 attacks on US Navy ships, and 145 hits on commercial shipping since 2023, it's safe to say our strategy wasn't really doing the trick. That's when Trump decided to flip the table and go full scorched earth mode on the Houthis. Showtime begins. At 1 a.m. local time on Saturday, March 15th, the sailors aboard two U.S. Navy destroyers in the Red Sea finally got the green light they'd been waiting for all week.
Within 10 minutes, the Tomahawk missile crews had mapped out the routes for their missiles to hit the first waypoints. After that, the secret mission control took over and guided the missiles the rest of the way. The sailors didn't even know the exact targets. But when that first wave of Tomahawks ripped out of the VLS cells at 1:15 a.m., flying at 515 miles per hour, they all cheered like it was the Super Bowl. The missiles were set to hit their targets in Yemen in about 15 minutes. But here's where things got clever. Each missile was programmed to stall and hang out in the air until exactly 1:30 a.m. So instead of striking one by one, they all hit at the same time. Chaos mode activated.
Boom goes the airport. At 1:30 sharp, several Tomahawks slammed into Sana'a International Airport, where the Houthis were stashing and launching their Shahed attack drones.
Another wave nailed a military barracks sitting smack in the middle of a residential area in downtown Sana'a. Meanwhile, in the suburbs, Tomahawks wiped out 4 Houthi command centers in the Jiv neighborhood. With their comms cut and no way to send out orders, the US followed up with another gut punch just 45 minutes later.
F-18SS joined the party. As the Tomahawks were still flying, F-18S launched from the USS Harry S. Truman carrier. Their mission? Knock out the main power plant in Damar and hit 11 more underground weapons storage sites in Sadr.
To handle that, the jets were loaded with AGM-154 Joint Standoff Weapons, also known as JSOWs. These bad boys can fly up to 130 kilometers and hit with a 500-pound warhead. But these weren't your standard bombs. They had special blue-nose tips that let them punch through up to 20 feet of concrete or 100 feet of dirt before exploding. Basically, bunker busters with an attitude.
The first target was the Damar power station, which lights up most of the Houthi-controlled zones. And yeah, when they hit it, Yemen went dark. Soldiers, civilians, everyone just saw their lights flicker out as the jets kept hitting targets across the area. Enter the B-1 bombers, but the party wasn't over. Just before the F-18S launched, 2 B-1 bombers had already taken off from Incirlik Air Base in Turkey. These were part of Task Force 242, the Air Force's big stick when it comes to long-range precision strikes.
With about 1,700 miles to fly and cruising at 647 miles per hour, they made it to the target zone just in time to join the blackout show. And with the Houthis' radar systems offline, they never even saw it coming.
Each bomber dropped a full load of 24 AGM-158 JASSMs, or Joint Air-to-Surface Standoff Missiles. That's 48 stealthy long-range missiles coming in hot. And the best part? They didn't even have to fly close to any air defenses. Thing is, the Houthis' best missile systems only reach about 120 kilometers. But JASSMs, with their jet engines and stealth tech, they strike from way beyond that range. Like, way beyond.
So check this out. Those long-range B-1 bombers? Yeah, they can cruise for over 1,000 kilometers like it's nothing. But that's not even the coolest part. The Air Force didn't just buy some random bargain bin missiles. Nah, they came with the big boy toys, JSSMs. These bad boys can loiter just like Tomahawks, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. And that's exactly what they did.
Right at 3 a.m. local time, a storm of JASSMs came raining down on Houthi UAV facilities all across the Al Baida province. The B-1S wiped out at least 8 of those drone hubs, basically nuking the Houthis' Shahed drone stash. And yeah, the sun wasn't even up yet. F-15s bring the heat. Not wanting to let their bomber buddies hog all the glory, a swarm of Air Force F-15 Strike Eagles launched out of Qatar and the UAE at full throttle. We're talking Mach 2.5 speeds.
As the B-1s peeled off to head home, the Strike Eagles rolled in hot, fully loaded with 2,000-pound JDAMs, or Joint Direct Attack munitions. They dropped their payloads on 2 apartment buildings in the Ib province.
But don't freak. No civilians were inside. The Houthis had kicked everyone out and were using the buildings as weapon depots, thinking the US wouldn't hit a residential target. Big mistake.
At exactly 4:20 a.m., the Strike Eagles lit up the night sky. The party was just getting started.
Here come the Growlers. After the F-18s returned to the USS Truman to rearm, they came back with some extra firepower. One of the jets might have looked like a regular old Hornet, but it was actually an EA-18G Growler, the Navy's electronic warfare ninja. Its main job? Wreck enemy radar and air defenses. While they normally jam radar using special pods, this time they went for something a little extra. The AGM-88 HARM, high-speed anti-radiation missile. Honestly, it's got one of the coolest names for a missile ever. And yeah, it lives up to the hype.
Instead of locking onto heat or radar signals like most missiles, this thing sniffs out electromagnetic emissions from radar systems. It can detect signals anywhere from 0.5 to 20 gigahertz, more than enough to zero in on the Houthis' radar systems, which run in the 4 to 8 gigahertz range.
With the Houthis gunners scanning the skies, totally convinced an attack was coming, they were basically shining a giant hit me sign into the air. As soon as their radars went live, the Growlers saw them from 70 nautical miles out and let the HARMs fly. Boom! Direct hits. Every radar station in the area, toasted, completely offline. And just when the Houthis probably thought, okay, it's over now, Billy Mays would have popped out like, but wait, there's more. The Navy's secret weapon. Back in the Red Sea, Round 4 was already lined up. A U.S. Navy Los Angeles-class attack sub had been creeping underwater, silent and deadly. Usually built to take out ships, this sub had another trick up its sleeve. It could launch Tomahawks too. And not just through the torpedo tubes, it had 12 vertical launch cells too.
With daylight breaking and targets crystal clear, the U.S. decided to smoke the Houthis' secondary command center in the Dahmer province. At 6:40 a.m., the sub let loose over a dozen Tomahawks through its torpedo tubes, which is a rare flex, by the way. By 7:10, 4 more Houthi command hubs were nothing but smoking rubble and twisted metal. But the Navy still wasn't done. The P-8 brings the boom. Off the coast of Yemen, a P-8 Poseidon was lurking, usually used to track subs and ships, but today it was playing a new game.
It launched the AGM-84 SLAM-ER, a long-range, high-speed surface strike missile. This beast can punch through the sound barrier and hit targets up to 270 kilometers away. It's built to take out both ships and ground targets, but you rarely see it used on land. Today, it got some action.
At 9:15 a.m., that lone P-8 flying over the Red Sea launched a barrage of missiles. By 9:30, multiple Houthi radar sites across Hajjah were nothing but burning wreckage. With almost every piece of Houthi air defense wiped off the map, the runway was clear for the grand finale. Enter the Big Daddy B-52. Back in November, the U.S. had deployed 6 of these Cold War legends to the Middle East for the first time since 2019. The iconic B-52 Stratofortress, currently based in Qatar, was ready to rumble.
Loaded to the teeth with 70,000 pounds of bombs, we're talking 35 2,000-pound GPS-guided bombs. This old beast can carry more punch than any other bird in the American arsenal. Yeah, it's not the fastest. It's basically the flying equivalent of a freight train, but man, when it hits, it hits.
This beast? It was built way before all the flashy new air defense tech hit the scene. That's exactly why the Air Force and Navy had to clear the way for the big dogs to roll through.
And oh man, the Houthis found out real quick that this old dog's still got a few tricks up its sleeve. Right around midday local time, the B-52S let loose. They dropped 70 JASSM missiles straight onto Houthi barracks and weapon storage sites, the ones the Navy didn't already wreck during the early morning strikes in Sana'a.
Now, before, a mission like this might have been super risky. But with the place already in ruins from the earlier hits, it was basically a milk run. Easy money.
As the B-52S cruised back to base, American commanders were riding high. Day one had been a total success. Over 40 targets destroyed, and not a single U.S. casualty. But the Houthis, they hadn't heard the final bell yet.
While the crews aboard the USS Harry S. Truman Strike Group were wrapping up dinner, the mood on board was electric. Spirits were sky high. Every unit had done their job, and they'd just landed a historic blow on the Houthis.
But just as they were getting comfy, around 6:00 p.m., the radar screens aboard the USS Stout and USS Jason Dunham started lighting up. A string of incoming signals popped up, and it looked like the Houthis weren't ready to throw in the towel just yet.
Thanks a ton for watching, y'all. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you're always in the loop. Here at X News, we're all about giving you the real, raw, and unfiltered scoop. Catch you in the next video. Stay safe.